Okay, so we've already been going a little while. I'm just now turning on the camera. If I have a square with side length 5 by 5, we multiply these numbers, it becomes 25. Alright, very good. So we call them square numbers because if we have a square with these as side lengths, this will be the result of the area when they multiply. But you can imagine it any other way. You could just imagine 6 times 6. You know, you don't need to make it into a square. What is 6 times 6? 36. If we were to keep going, we've already done 1, 2, 3. We need 4, so what's 4 times 4? 16, very good. What about 7s?
49. 49.
Alright, do you guys know the quick way to do 4 times 4? If I do 7 with a little 2, that means 7 times 7, okay? We also call this little 2 squared. So if I say this, or if I read this, it's 7 squared.
What if you put the 7 in the... It's like a division sign? That's what square number, right?
Square root.
Yes, square root.
Okay, we're going to get to that in about 5 minutes. Okay, I'm not wearing a watch, but you know what I mean. So what's 7 times 7?
49.
So another way to say that is 7 squared is 49, right? Good. What is 8 times 8?
64.
Alright, you guys know 9 squared?
81.
81. 10 squared?
100.
What about 11? We did 11.
121.
Do you know 12?
144.
144. When I was young, this is as high as we learned. So if you don't know past this, that's okay. But does anyone know 13 squared?
156.
Close, but think of it this way. When you multiply 13 times 13, the number in the ones place is going to be 3 times 3.
It's 169.
169, very good. Now this leads us to one of our easy ways to recognize how to calculate square numbers. So for example, if I have anything larger than 10, there has to be a number in the ones place, right? So if I have, give me a number, let's say 17, okay? If I want to figure out 17 squared, if I'm going to multiply it out, it's going to be like this, right? 17 times 17. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is 7 times 7, which is going to give me 49, and then blah, blah, blah is going to happen, right? Then the next thing I'm going to do is the 1 times the 7, but I put a 0 here, so there's going to be a 7 here. No matter how big of a number you are getting, this 9 will only have zeros underneath it, okay? So if you add everything down below, it's always going to have a 9 in the ones place because 7 times 7 is 49. So sometimes you can look at, I'm going to use this other paper as an example. You can look at what's in the ones place value and you can take a shortcut. Well, you can not really take a shortcut, you can use your logical reasoning to determine what is going to be. So for example, here we have the square root of 225. Now this is the thing that Bob was talking about a moment ago, where this is already a square number. Imagine this is the area of the square, and we're trying to find out what multiplies by itself in order to get to this number. So when you see this shape, what it is it's asking you a question. It's saying there's a number that multiplies by itself to get to be this number. Wait, Alex, before you answer, I'm actually going to show how to do this. So I'm going to look at the ones place value. Because our trick, we just found out that the ones places will always multiply with each other and never change after. So out of all of the numbers 1 Which of their squares end in a 5?
5.
5 is the only one. 1 times 1 will end in a 1. So anything, 11, 21, 31, 41, if you square it, it's always going to end in a 1. 2 times 2 is 4. So any numbers that end in 2, when you square it, will be 4. So when you have 12 times 12, it ends in 144. Anything after that, 12, 22, 32, it's always going to end in a 4. 3 ends in a 9. Anything that ends in a 4, when you square it, will then end in a 6. So there's only a possibility of seeing a 5. So I'm going to put a 5 here. That means that I either have 5, 15, or 25, right? Well, I know that 5 squared is 25. So now I just have to figure these out, right? Well, I'm just going to go down the list. I'm going to say, what is 15 times 15? Just going to really quickly do the multiplication. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 1 is 5 plus the 2 is 7. Okay, and then we do, we're done with this now. Put the 0, 15. Add these together. 5 plus 0 is 5.
4 is 5.
Boom, there we go. That's kind of the way to do it. There aren't really good shortcuts, but there are calculators. Calculators are really great for solving square roots and cube roots. So when you see this shape, it means what number multiplies by itself to be this. So sometimes I see people say, the square root of 225 is 15 squared. No, that's wrong. The square root of 25 is 15. Okay? Do you understand? If I were to put this 15 squared, well, the answer isn't the square root of 225. 15 squared is 225. Okay? These are opposites of each other. They kind of cancel out. It's like multiplying and dividing. They are opposites of each other. So 15 equals the square root of 225. And 15 squared is 225. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And the little 2 just means the number of times you're multiplying it by itself. Tomorrow we are going to learn, or maybe on Thursday, we're going to learn about cubed. It's like squares, except for we're imagining it as a cube. So if you have a cube of 2's, it's no longer going to be 4, it's going to be 8, right? But a cube of 1 is still going to be 1. Cube of 3 is going to be 27. That's what we're going to learn tomorrow, and we represent that with a little 3. So this would be 1 to the 3rd. When you see to the 3rd, it's the same as cube. If you hear me say cube, it means you multiply it by itself 3 times. So this is 2 cubed, which is the same as 2 times 2 times 2. 3 cubed, which is the same as 3 times 3 times 3. If I were to do 11 cubed, it will be the same as 11 times 11 times 11. Alright? Okay. You can begin on your worksheets. Now, something that you can do, you'll notice that up above it wants you to find the square roots, and down below it wants you to find the squares. Well, those go together. So when you find the square root of 144, and you find that that is 12, well, down below you have 12 squared. You just need to know that you're kind of connecting the answers, right? So it's kind of like when you get halfway done, the rest of it goes by super fast. I'm going to post this video onto YouTube, and the students will complete your assignment at home.